Hey guys, welcome. Let's give it a minute here. We'll go ahead and get started. Hope you all are enjoying the nice weather.
I won't unmute too long, but hey, Brad, hey, JC, because I'm in a
Hey.
Starbucks and I don't want the music to interrupt everyone.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Before we kind of launch into the training, I think White Rock Lending Services and Anika wants to tell us a little bit about what's going on in the lending world. And you'll have to unmute.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. I feel like it's still morning. My name's Anika. I've been with White Rock a couple months now. I've been a mortgage loan officer for several years, so kind of got to see everything go down to record lows and now seeing rates kind of come back to what's considered more normal for the industry. Of course, the hot topic, honestly, is the rising rate environment. That's what everyone's concerned about qualifying for that home. Higher rates do make it more challenging to qualify for, just the home prices we're seeing in the market. And there are a couple ways to kind of combat that. The hot topic as far as ways to get the rate down is that 2-1 buy down. We are seeing more of the lenders that we're working with offer that and bring that around. That can be for FHA, VA, and conventional home purchases. It's not going to be something available on a USDA or non-agency product. Conventional loans, we can use that for a primary, secondary home. FHA and VA, it's just for a primary home. Your clients are going to have to qualify off the initial note rate, but they can buy that down from, say it's a 7%, they can buy it down to a 5% for that first year. And then that second year would be at a 6%. That does save them interest for those first couple of years, and it's a seller paid concession. Tim did put a post on that showing you how to use the buy down calculator he sent out on the Facebook page here for White Rock Realty. So that can help walk you through how to calculate what that would look like. The other option is the adjustable rate mortgage that can be very strategic based on your client's long-term goals. If they're looking on staying put for 5, 7, 10 years, this locks in that lower rate for a longer period of time. And if they're looking at moving after that, or, the market circles back around and rates drop again, that's a great time to refinance it, take advantage of that. But it can give them a little more security about what their payment will look like for at least 5 years. So those are a couple options we're able to utilize to try and get a better payment for your clients to help them qualify for more mortgage based on what they're looking for. If you have any questions on that, reach out to any one of us at any time. Myself, Miguel, Tim, and JC, we're here to help. You guys are a priority. We want to make sure to help your clients get to the closing table.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. JC, anything to add?
Great job, Anika. The only thing I want to add, honestly, is stay positive. I just want to encourage everybody to stay positive. And if you do know a loan officer, give them a hug today. It's definitely some trying times, but stay positive. We all need each other right now, and we all need to get creative and share ideas if you have any as to where do we generate the next lead. If you want to partner up and do some cold marketing, whatever it takes, guys, we are all willing, ready, and available to do so. So please reach out to any of us.
Awesome. Well, and I was going to save this until one of our future meetings. I just jotted some notes down about this subject today. And so let me just kind of tell you what I think about the market in general. So when it comes to buying a home or a car or a large purchase, traditionally, it's all about the monthly payment, right? What does my paycheck afford me to buy on a monthly basis? So was it Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers that did the deal where it said one of these things is not like the other? So let me just tell you, the components of buying a home rely on three things: the price of the home, your interest rate, and how much the buyer can put down. So the one of those things that isn't like the other is the down payment. Why is that? Because that's the only thing in that three-pronged equation that your buyer has any control over. So when you, to JC's point about staying positive, it may seem like all hope is lost for anybody anywhere to buy a home. That's just not the case. Are these conditions eliminating a segment of the population for purchasing a home? Yes, it is. However, anybody can combat this by simply putting more money down. And that may take longer to save that amount of money, but that is the only thing the buyer can control. Because if you put down 30% versus 20%, your monthly payment is going to be significantly less. And you get the bonus of waiting a year, 2, 3 years, whatever, for the interest rates to drop, and you can go back and refinance. Okay, so for whatever that's worth. All right, so today I wanted to talk about, the training today is going to center around your 4-month plan to spring. Okay, and so why 4 months? Because if you take into account that October is pretty much halfway done, that leaves November, December, 2 months that have holidays, January, February. January, February are the slowest months sales-wise of the year in real estate. So you have arguably 4, maybe 4.5 months to prepare for the spring selling season in 2023. So before we launch into this, let me just leave this right here for a second. I am your biggest fan. No one wants to see y'all succeed more than I do. And so I believe in you. And, given the size that the brokerage is at now, I'll let you know a little secret. We don't accept everybody. So the fact that you're here should tell you that I believe in you. I saw something in you when we first spoke, and that is true today. In the rare occasions that someone does join and they don't work out, I'm very quick to point that out to them, and I allow them to leave and find another home, because I think that just brings everyone else down. Now, that being said, as you know, I will be as involved or as much or as little as you want me to be in your business. But the person that I saw when I interviewed each and every one of you was a person that wanted to succeed, didn't get overwhelmed, didn't get beat down when things got tough, and someone that is already successful. You know, I mean, you already have the personality traits that it takes to be successful in real estate. So that being said, just know that I mean, this time of year is typically a softer time of year, and you have to dig pretty deep to stay motivated, just like JC said, right? So today, I wanted to talk about what you can do in this traditionally slower time to prepare yourself for the spring selling season. So why 4 months? Well, buyers and sellers are waiting. They are generally waiting for something to turn in their favor. You got interest rates, you got home prices increasing, all the talk about the economy, the midterm elections. I mean, fill in the blank. There is excuse after excuse after excuse, right? And so some of it is valid, some of it is not valid. But the truth of the matter is that they are waiting for something to indicate to them that now is the time to buy or sell their home. So this gives us time to prepare for that, right? So that being said, I'm telling you, this is the natural downturn of a typical real estate market this time of year. Okay, so from really November through January, pretty much February, people are shut down for the most part. And when I say that, I mean real estate agents, right? Now, so that being said, accepting the softening in business that occurs this time of year really gives you permission to put your energy towards prospecting for the long term. So any successful realtor will tell you that they don't live in a world where their business suffers from peaks and valleys, right? Because the traditional way to do real estate is I prospect a lot, then I get a bunch of business, I stop prospecting because I'm too busy, and then all those closings happen and I'm right back to square one. And so a successful realtor will tell you that they're successful because they're able to even out those peaks and valleys. So allow me to be the first one to give you permission to, you know, engage in long-term prospecting this time of year. All right. And if you don't prepare for the success of spring, you're really setting yourself up for failure because time will pass anyway. And you'll be sitting here and it's going to be April 1st or March 1st. And if you hadn't done anything, don't be surprised that you don't have any business coming your way. So I've just mentioned that the buyers and sellers are already waiting. They're not reaching out. So what a great time to prepare for when they will reach out, which is going to be springtime. All right. And lastly, do you have a database established yet? It could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, but you need something central where you put all of your contacts so that you can market to them. So let's think about if you did not do that. So think about us sitting here a year from now, October 13th, 2023. You will have talked to dozens and dozens of people. And if you haven't exercised the discipline to put them somewhere and track them, it will seem like you've not talked to anybody. And I've seen this happen. People that have a database still think that, but then they go look back in their database and say, oh, you know what? I actually have like 65 people in here. How did I talk to 65 people? And they go through the list and they say, oh yeah, I met him at an open house and this person at a networking meeting, and this is my dry cleaner, and this is my dentist. And all of a sudden, your business is really sitting right underneath your nose. So if you've not done that yet, no better time than the present. Okay, at least put a handful of names in there. So I want you to ask yourself something. Which one of these folks are you? Are you simply existing, or are you actually living? So it's a little existential, right? I don't just mean real estate. I mean, we all know these people, young and old, that are they're struggling. They're out there just existing. They're not really living their life. They're not enjoying and not fulfilling their purpose in life. And so in real estate, look, you already spent a ton of money and a ton of time to get your license. You didn't come this far to just come this far. You're not here to just exist. You're here to enjoy the life that you're trying to build through your business. So are you just surviving or are you excelling in your business? Okay, plenty of realtors in this downturn are barely keeping their head above water. Okay, and there's reasons for that. But are you going to be one of those folks that are just surviving, or are you going to excel? And then lastly, are you living a life by design or a life by default? And that could be both professionally and personally, right? So are you just allowing life to happen, or are you waking up every day with a plan, with what you have to do that day to actually live a life that you've designed versus just letting stuff happen to you? Okay, so today's agenda is going to be very simple. We're going to talk about both active and passive ways to prospect for the next 4 months, and also talk about ways to stay motivated and engaged in real estate, even during a slow time. So Q4 is a gift for realtors because it is all about the holidays. And I'm talking about Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's, okay, and everything in between. So here are some of my suggestions. So note cards. So people are used to getting Christmas cards, holiday cards, around the holidays. So it is not unusual for you to kind of pile on and start sending out note cards. If you've not ever done this before, it's very, very powerful. And as you're hanging around a Sunday afternoon watching the Cowboys lose, you can certainly churn out. Actually, I go back. They've actually had a good record lately, right? 4-1, fixing to be 5-1 on Sunday night. Cross your fingers. I digress. Let's move on. Note cards. Just take the time to write 4 or 5 a day, 4 or 5 a week. I'm going to show you a response that I got recently after having done this that I think will drive this point home. Pop by gifts for past clients. So what's a pop by? A pop by is literally you're popping by someone's place of employment, their home, their brand new home, if you help them purchase that home, and you are dropping off some kind of gift, something small, inexpensive. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're there. So if you have even one closing in the past year or even 2 years, you have somebody to go visit. Okay, this goes a long way. I know agents that make this part of their holiday initiative, and it pays off big time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that person has to be relied on to refer business to you. And although you may have done a 5-star rating kind of job, if you're not in front of them, they're going to give the business to someone who is. It's through no fault of their own. It's just human nature. Okay, so all the more reason to reconnect over the holidays. You could host a Halloween barbecue or some kind of event for your neighborhood. If you live in a neighborhood where, if you live in a subdivision, versus an apartment complex, something like that, you're going to have traffic on Halloween. And so could you do something more than just hand out candy that advertises your business? Okay, advertise during trick-or-treating. So can you put a banner up over your door? Do you have a yard sign you can just put up, and against your door, against your porch? Something that that tells the world that you're a realtor. You could create a black shirt with white lettering that's very Halloweenish, right? That says, "Ask me about real estate." This is where you have to get creative and get aggressive. Now, some people attach their business card to the candy that they're putting in the kid's bag. You can do that too, but get creative. Hey, New Year's, send out a 2023 planner. This could be even, I'm trying to think of things that aren't going to cost you any money. So what you can find on the internet is plentiful, right? So that's why I said this could even be an email, right? So whether it's a hard copy of something, but people are in that mindset. They're in the mindset to get organized for 2023. that could be a great little gift. Send pictures of a trip or some kind of milestone that you experienced this year. What really resonates with people are a new pet, a new baby, a new home, a new car, a vacation that you took, some kind of home improvement project, but something that will connect you to that person. All right, and I'm not just talking about people that you've already done business with. These could be prospects as well. Okay, some people go above and beyond and spend a little money and, you know, get pies for Thanksgiving or holiday tree ornaments, homemade anything. Those are also great ideas. You could take a silly picture of you in a Santa hat. Doesn't have to go out in note cards, but you could post it on social media. Something, right? I have heard frequently enough to mention it here today that when people are thinking about hiring a realtor, they obviously will do research on social media. And if it appears that you're engaged and that you're active in your business, that creates credibility for people. So take that for whatever it's worth. All right, and then a new year usually inspires people to declutter or get organized or lose weight. Now, whether they follow through with any of those things doesn't matter. A lot of us do not, myself included. But what in that context can you think of to send to people? You know, and look, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to get a list of people to send these to, but this is where it gets difficult. And I'm telling you that because I don't want you to think that I'm trying to make it sound easy, because it's not. So if you just take a moment, uninterrupted, no social media, no outside influences, and just take 10 or 15 minutes and think about, if you had to get a closing in 30 days and you had to find people to send these things to, who would they be? Who would they be? And I mean, when you think of this profession, for the most part, everyone could be your possible prospect and your possible client. So start with friends and family, branch out from there, and introduce yourself to neighbors. Take it one step further and talk to more people at church or some kind of social organization. It literally could be anybody. And when you start getting into the habit of writing note cards just to thank people for something, it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful. So here I want to show for you a response that I got recently after writing a note card to the company that we are part of as White Rock Lending Services. So just real briefly, the structure for White Rock Lending Services is that we are a branch office that gets to call ourselves whatever name we want, that's tucked under another mortgage company. Okay, so as an example, let's say that Bank of America does mortgages, right? But every branch office for Bank of America is called Bank of America. So, but not in our case. Okay, so we are part of another kind of umbrella mortgage company that has branch offices that we can, you know, we call ourselves and brand ourselves however we want. That being said, I have to rely on that person for a lot of stuff and a lot of guidance, especially early on. So it struck me one day that he has provided a tremendous amount of support for us. And so I took the time to write him a note card expressing my gratitude. And his response was this: "Thanks, Brad, and I just got your card today. Thank you very much!" Exclamation point. I have never had a loan officer, processor, manager, branch manager take the time to reach out and thank me in writing for something. And it says, "That means a lot." So that made me feel good, but mission accomplished. I mean, and not that I was trying to get anything out of that. I genuinely wanted to thank him for expending his time and not just leaving us out there to figure it out on our own. And so I used to do more of this, but but with the same exact results. If you send out 10 of these, I will bet you that well over half will at least respond with an acknowledgement that they got it, if not just gushing that they got it. The other 3 or 4, they just won't bother to reach out, but just know that it had the exact same effect. I mean, that response made my day, you know, and so it just goes to show you we're never too old to reap the benefit of positive reinforcement. All right, so in your case, just send out a quick thank you note for something, stick your card in there, and for every 10, you're going to get somebody that has a need in real estate. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen. Okay, so my second slide here talks about reaching out to the motivated but not right now crowd. So who are they? They are people that have already raised their hand and said, I want to buy or sell a home. So I know you're going to think I'm beating a dead horse here, but I also want you all to know, this is a good place for me to tell you all this. I don't ever recommend something or have a business rule in the brokerage that is just a result of me wanting to do that just based on what might happen. Everything that I tell you and every rule that I have here is because it's worked. Okay, so my point here is that as things kind of ramp down, I would suggest hosting 2 open houses per month. And I'm going to tell you why it's more important in Q4 than in any other part of the year, because people that are going to open houses and want you to show them homes are very motivated, because they could be doing a million other things during the holidays. And so this demonstrates that they need to move into a home. Okay, so you can do 2 in November, 2 in December, 2 in January, 2 in February. Stick to the weekends. Don't think that you're going to get some, you know, weird surge of business if you do it on a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. That won't happen. Okay, so just don't waste your time. But if you do 2 a month for 4 months, you're going to get, and 5 people come in, that's 40 people by March 1st. All right, so half of those won't materialize into anything. So that leaves you with 20, and then half of those, you know, may drop out or, you know, not qualify or whatever. So that leaves you with 10. And so maybe out of 10, 6 or 7 will actually materialize. That's 6 or 7 closings you didn't have before. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you don't do this, you're not talking to the motivated. The second group is expired listings. And I always say that any city in Texas values the expired listing market so much that they have put an actual button on every MLS in the state where you can filter out just who has an expired listing. So there must be something to that, right? So my advice to you is, number one, go look at our under business building tab on our website. Go look at the blueprint for expired listings, and there's a ton of stuff there. But if you want to start small, send our expired letter, which I'm going to go to right now, to every expired listing that comes on the market between now and March, and also go back the last 90 days. So I'm just going to show you where this is. I just went to business building. And if you go to, wait a second. No, I didn't. If you go down to blueprint for working with expireds, there is a letter right here. And it's in Word format because I want you guys to have the latitude to change whatever phrasing you want. But I took this from a course that I bought years and years ago and made it my own. And it basically says, you know, just a note to say, I'm sorry your house didn't sell. Please don't be too discouraged. As you can see from the attached list, which is going to be a 1-page quick CMA, other homes in the neighborhood are selling. And it just kind of goes on to say, I'm here to help you if you want, right? So if you did nothing but send out this one pager to all the expired listings, you're going to get business. And the reason is because they're already motivated, and they're beat down by the fact and astounded by the reality that their home didn't sell after having gone through 18 months of a really, really hot market, and they can't understand why their home didn't sell. And so they're not frustrated with the realtor or the profession of real estate. They just need help. I've never had a door slammed in my face. I've never had someone hang up on me. All those are myths. If you approach these folks from perspective of, I may not be able to help you, but can you please talk to me so I can understand what went wrong and maybe I can help you. And if you send out enough of these letters, you will get responses. The kind of 2.0 version of that is if you go to their door, because they can see you, hear the tone of your voice, and connect a little bit quicker with you if you go to visit them. But if you want to take the less invasive approach, send out the letters. But make no mistake about it. If you go and you talk to somebody, you're going to get a for sale sign in that yard quicker than you can bat an eye. It's going to be a longer process if you do it by mail. But again, you got stuff to do during the holidays too. If you do nothing more than send out a couple of these letters, you're going to be golden. Okay. The next thing is rally your quote unquote team. So who is your team? Your team is going to be other people that you rely on to execute your real estate business. So who are these people? All right. So these could be insurance people, handymen, inspectors, allegiance title, and so on. So my recommendation here is to make a goal to at least set 2 in-person appointments per week with someone in insurance, a handyman, an inspector, allegiance title, CPAs, any home-based business, roofer, electrician, plumber, foundation repair, pool company. Okay. And so what is the purpose? Well, they're going to be slow too. And they're already like us because they rely on referral business. So they're going to be more likely to take an appointment with you. So here is what you're probably sitting there rolling your eyes about and thinking that I'm missing the point here, is that if you don't have any of these contacts, if you've just started in this business, if you are not a homeowner, and you've never had to call an HVAC person to your home, it's okay. Google any small local businesses in these categories. They would love to meet with you. So, you know, we all have the companies that do ads on TV. They're not your audience, okay? Your audience are people that don't have any advertising going on. You can tell just by the name that they're a small independent company, okay? You can also go to the town's Chamber of Commerce directory. And if you simply say, hey, I found you on the Chamber of Commerce's directory, and I wanted to see if we could get together. So I've even put together some dialogue here. And you can say something like, hey, I'm setting up my 2023 list of referral partners, and I'd love to be able to do business with you. Can we meet so we can get to know each other a little bit better? Maybe a quick 30 minutes, I'll bring the coffee. Okay. And so even if it's with the person that sets the appointment. So typically an HVAC company that's small, as one example, is a husband and wife. And the wife sets the appointments and answers the phone, and the husband goes out and is the HVAC licensed repair person. Even if you talk to the wife and set an appointment with the wife or take coffee, that's a good start. Ideally, you want to talk to the person that is in someone's home every day for a living, just like we are. But if you can't get to that person, talk to and visit with whoever you can. Okay. I know this involves cold calling, but all you need is one of these people to connect with you, sing your praises, and refer you out. Okay, because they're already talking to homeowners every day as part of their business model. All right. So you may have to talk to 10 people to get to appointment, to get 2 of those appointments each week, but it's going to be worth it. And you're going to get those appointments and people are going to cancel on you. Okay, just FYI. Doesn't matter. Bring them coffee anyway, send them a note card saying, sorry, we didn't get a chance to connect. It demonstrates that you want the business. Okay. All right. So here are my tips for staying engaged and not running out of steam and motivation. So there's a reason why, for those of you that are going through the 4-week training program, that I have you do certain things. And the main reason is just to stay engaged in real estate. If you've got no customers, that doesn't mean that you can't go visit open houses. All right, doesn't mean that you can't go preview homes. Preview homes in a neighborhood that you're not familiar with. Go see a listing that's $1 million. See what, see what's up there. But when you're visiting open houses, give that agent your card. You never know. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't matter what city or town you're in, there are other agents that don't want to do business in your area. So they are none too glad to refer business out to you if it means that they don't have to travel 30 miles to go list a home or go show a buyer a home. Okay, so you just never know. But this does keep you active in real estate and it makes you feel engaged. Visit builders. Okay, and I mean, I don't really need to say much more than that. I mean, just go visit model homes, talk to the salespeople. They're back to normal. They want to talk to you. Go do a quick video of their model home and post it on social media. I mean, it will be time well spent. Even if you don't have a buyer to bring to them, you got to have that knowledge anyway to be able to speak to buyers that might want to build a new home. Take a class with your local board and brush up on your skills. Go to every end of the year celebration that you possibly can. So I'm kind of thinking of, if you're a spouse and your spouse wants to quote unquote drag you to their office end of the year party, go. Don't make excuses to not go. If someone, if your church is doing something, if your local organization is doing something, don't not go. You never know. I mean, you want to be in an environment where people have their guard down. They are blowing off some steam. They're enjoying the end of the year and the holidays, and they are open to talking to you about anything. And that is what comes from going to an end of the year holiday celebration. Hand out your business card with a candy cane to anyone, so that's a good excuse to hand out your card. Just tape a little, one of those small candy canes. That's always good. Check out as many networking groups as you can for free. So here's the deal. Every networking group wants you to be a paying member or some kind of participant. All of them will let you join, all of them will let you go to one of their meetings or more to check it out to see if it's a right fit for you. Go to 4 or 5 of those between now and March, and you're going to meet a ton of people because they're all there to get business just like you are. And if one kind of hits you that you want to go join, maybe you go and do that. Schedule a coaching session with me. So, there is no better reset than to have someone that is not really in your day-to-day business, but is in the business of real estate to provide some motivation and perspective. Okay, it will not be a waste of time. So even if we don't meet ever again for another year, I think it's time well spent. Okay, and then fill out the goal setting worksheet. We will look at more of this as the year moves on. We get closer to that time of year, but that is under business building. And I've popped this up before on on these calls. It's just an Excel spreadsheet that helps you chart out what your goals are. Because quite frankly, if you don't know where you're going, you can't really chart out a path to get there. And I have done a video on how to fill it out. It's very intuitive, but I would get a head start on that. If you're starting in January, arguably it's too late. Okay. Okay. So spring is when people put their home on the market typically. So how do you get spring listings? Well, circle prospect. What does that mean? It means that if you notice a for sale sign go up in a lawn of a home that is right near you, that then piques other people's interest, especially after coming out of the market that we were just in. So circle prospecting means if you could stick a pin in that one home, go out a half a mile or a quarter of a mile, or maybe even just stay in that neighborhood and prospect those people. Because out of every 20, you're going to get somebody that is ready to pull the trigger because their neighbor just put their home on the market. Okay. And for good or for bad, no one neighborhood is ever dominated by one realtor anymore. I don't care what anybody says. My neighborhood is a great example. Just when I think, someone's going to hire XYZ real estate company just because one of the neighbors did, I swear they hire somebody else. And so that tells you that it's all about relationships. Okay. So you have just as good a chance as anybody else. Send out a note card to 10 neighbors per week. That's 160 new people who now know you are there to help them. So if you have trouble finding 160 homes in your general area, that's a problem. My guess is you're not going to run out of people to send note cards to. My guess is you could send out 10 times this amount. But let's start small because you want to present yourself as the neighborhood expert. You can't be a neighborhood expert 10 miles from where you live. All right. But out of 160 people, even if 10% respond, 5%, that's 8. That's a good ratio. And in spring, you have a better than good chance at catching people that are in that mindset. All right, and then we do have under business building, about 3/4 of the way down the page, a document that that's called 60 Ways to Get Listings. In fact, I've mentioned a couple of things about our website, so let me just go to it. So the business planning template that I mentioned earlier, the Excel spreadsheet, that's right here. It says business planning template, and there is a video that goes with it. And I'll just pop this open for those of you that have never seen it before. Okay, you start here and you say, hey, how much money do I want to make? Profit-wise, what are my expenses, and so on. And then you go tab by tab and fill this out. I have a video that goes along with it, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time there. But it pretty much says, hey, if I want to make $100,000, I need to sell 11 transactions. Okay, and it just helps you back into what you have to do throughout the year to get to those 11 closings. All the more reason to not get hung up on how many closings have I had this month. It's all about looking at your business in 12-month increments. So the document that I just mentioned is down here under business sources and lead generation. And there is one called, I know it says 53 ways to get listings, but that I must have come up with 7 more because it's actually 60. So if you download this, it's 8 pages long. If you can't find something here, that's a problem, right? There are 60 different ways to get listings, and they're not difficult. They're not weird. All of them, something's going to resonate with you. And so I would encourage you to go back here and look at that for nothing more than just, they're good thought starters, right? So once you find your niche there, give me a shout. We'll go through what you need to do to keep that going. Okay. And then if you do nothing else, get your 1-page resume going, deliver it to your neighbors with a sticky note and your business card that says, thinking about selling your home this year? Call me. I mean, it speaks for itself. And your one-page resume is already filled out. It's under the marketing tab. You just need to put your picture, your contact information, and it's kind of the same in the same spirit of sending out 160 note cards. Someone is going to respond. It's just the time of year, right? All right, so remember that realtors typically take Q4 off, the fourth quarter off. Use that to your advantage and be that agent that people hire. It will demonstrate that you really want the business. And I want to remind you of a statistic that just bears out year after year after year. And that is that clients, and I think the figure is just under 80%, hire the first realtor they ever talk to. Okay, it's rare you're going to talk to a client that says, you know, I've interviewed 3 people. I just had this happen the other day where that was the case. And I said, that's awesome, because one of our realtors got the business after they had interviewed several other people. That is rare. Usually they talk to the first realtor they talk to and or the person standing in front of them, right? So if well over half of us take the fourth quarter off, you have a better than fair chance of getting business. Okay, so that was it for the presentation today. Hopefully those gave you some nuggets on how to at least stay motivated, get motivated, and get some business. I would encourage you to take a look back at this, and if you hadn't taken notes already, and just try and formulate, you know, what you want to do over the next 4 months, and set up some time with me, and we can talk more about it. But does anyone have any input, questions, comments, confusion on what we covered today? Okay. Awesome, awesome. Well, good deal. Well, next week is our CE opportunity with Allegiance Title. I would strongly suggest you attend. They have a whole class on a lot of what we talked about today, which is building and growing your business as a realtor. So absolutely worth tuning in for, and you get an hour CE credit as a bonus. So please tune in there. I will record it. If you can't make it, you can always look back at the video, but just FYI. So anyway, thanks so much, you guys. Enjoy this great weather, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.